What's going on? I'm in front of New York City. My head might be covering the good stuff, or not. But I'm on the Jersey side looking over, and yeah, I'm using the city skyline for some good vibes, but I'm gonna talk smack about this city because I love LA so much more. Don't get me wrong, New York is amazing. Okay, I grew up in Jersey, I've lived in New York, but there's just so many reasons. Actually, there's very few, but those reasons are so big that they just overpower New York. So let me just get into the point. The first and most obvious reason that I like LA better is because of the weather. Duh. It is warm out. It's sunny. And people think that's just like, oh, that's it. That's all you got. That element has so many, it branches off into so many positive reasons that, I mean, it can just kind of carry the whole decision. One, just the comfort, right? Of being in the sun year round for the most part and feeling warmth. Feeling warmth, by the way, is not just like a superficial thing. For people that are like easily tensed, their muscles are tight, being in a warm environment relaxes your shoulders. Like for me, I have a lot of health issues and I get tight very easily. Being in the warm weather relaxed my body so much. Then you have the mood lift, right? Being in the clouds, in the dark weather, and the lack of sunlight, the early night. You know, they call it the seasonal affective disorder for being in the winters on the Northeast. It's a real thing. You feel way more uplifted living there. Or being in that environment, at least. Okay? Now, those two things lend themselves to the individual, for me at least, to like go out more. You know, a lot of times in the Northeast, in the East Coast, in like New Jersey, NYC, like when I was living in New York, there'd be so many times where I would just be too cold to go outside. And honestly, all the walking around in New York, it's exhausting. It was genuinely exhausting. I would just not want to go out nights because of that. And then you don't have a car, it's like, well, getting somewhere is going to be difficult. You got to walk, catch these trains at night. You know, whereas LA, yeah, you can just drive. You can walk when you want to. So it just lends itself to be able to go out more. Not that I'm like a crazy going out person, but I still went out more when I was in LA. And just from a health perspective, I took more walks because there was so much nature out there. I mean, just even in residential areas, through the city areas too, you see way more palm trees, you see way more bushes and plants and just nature in general. It just makes you want to be outside. And there's like a value that's, I mean, I would say is pretty objective. It's not like my feelings are this or that. It's like, it's objectively better to be outside, breathing in fresh air, getting sunlight, walking. And then the element of just like going out, of like, or having more of a predisposition to going out, you know, those things over time add up. You never know when you go out, that when you just decided to go out for a night and you ended up meeting some people or you ended up making some new friends. And now you kind of change a little bit, you know, sometimes the course of your life by meeting new people or by doing new things. And there's just so much to do there. There's so much in terms of nature. There's so much in terms of, yeah, you want nightlife, you want to go out, restaurants, whatever, comedy, entertainment, so much. There's all that going on too. And just an environmental and architectural standpoint as well. Like, I always thought New York, when I was young, I was just like, I was blinded by New York. I was just thought it was the best place. There's no other place like this. And I didn't realize how much just concrete and steel and gray there actually is. Like what we think as like sleek and cool architecture, to the human mind, it's not natural. Whereas if you go and live in LA, you see like the way the homes are built, you see, I mean, there is only downtown LA and then maybe like certain parts of Santa Monica where they have high rises. Everything else is like, you're not seeing more than like 4 stories up. And the architecture a lot of times is just more natural. It's just more like brighter colors. Those things have an effect on you. And your, like the subtle feeling of in your nervous system, the subtle feeling of calm in your body. So, you know, there's so many different little dimensions to this, in my opinion, that make it better. And then let me get away from that and just talk about some other reasons that, for me personally, I liked it. I felt like I'm not vegetarian, but I like the option to be more in what I eat, like vegetarian. So like in LA, there's just way more, people are just more conscious of that vegan lifestyle. So you can get vegetarian options so much more easily and in so many different restaurants and so many different varieties where they make those considerations for people. And so that's another plus, you know, for me. Although I'm sure that's the case in New York too. I don't know, actually. I haven't lived there recently. And then I'm into comedy, so I love the comedy scene there. I liked, obviously the comedy scene in New York is amazing. I can't knock that either. And then there's just so many different cultures there. There's so many different people and neighborhoods there. Like the vibe of neighborhoods is, I don't know, it's just different. It's different. I've lived in New York too. I'm not saying this as someone who's never lived in New York. I lived there twice. And I know you're gonna say like, oh, it's not enough, whatever, but I don't know. I think it is. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is that you get more for your dollar. Okay, yes, gas costs more, but in terms of like rent, the space that you get is more. You are so cramped up in New York. Even when you go to like restaurants or like the Comedy Cellar in New York is like, it's like awesome venue and I love, you know, everyone being together and watching it and laughing and whatever, but bro, it's so tightly packed. You get just more space, even for apartments, I would say. You get more space. That matters. You know, that matters. I'm kind of looking at this more as from like a physiological and like almost a health perspective lens, you know, whereas I feel New York is more exhausting. I mean, they call it the city that never sleeps. Like, is that good? I mean, in what world is that good? To not get sleep? I hate not getting sleep, man. I'm like very cranky. I don't feel well. I have a headache if I don't get my hours in. You know, it's a place for the people that are extremely energetic. And you have lots and lots of money, disposable money to like use on the actual enjoyment and the comfortable enjoyment. You know, to be able to take Ubers places, to be able to eat wherever you want, whenever you want, all that kind of stuff. Whereas LA, there's just, I don't know, there's so many more options. The beach element as well. Mountains, bro, I used to live in San Gabriel Valley. It's beautiful. It is beautiful every day. When you drive, you feel, oh my God, what a blessing. Like, for what? I don't know. Blessed by what? Just by seeing something amazing, by nature. You know, those little feelings, positive feelings, they rest you. They rest your nervous system. So yeah, here I am talking smack, but that's how I feel. I don't know who else feels like this, but I'm gonna make it back to LA someday. And maybe one day you'll see me shooting a video from there. All right, bye.